I'm Dylan Boeken. I'm founder of Boekhouse Hearth and Husbandry. We raise sheep, and I am an EOV Monitor and Verifier in the Savory Institute, and partner with Brittany Cole Bush in Shepherdess Land and Livestock in a really unique gilded partnership where we have two businesses working side by side that feed back and forth into each other and kind of give us a unique market opportunity. You know, when you're growing up and you're trying to figure out what you do, you look at yourself, you look at what your identity is, and I knew I liked nature. And by the time I was graduating high school, I'd noticed that there was a call to action in regards to saving ecological systems. Went to that for college. I studied environmental studies, and the school I went to at the time was supposed to be the best in the country for it, but they were very soft in the science side of things, and I wanted to have some hard skills. I added on biology thinking that would help me in a research area, and it did help things, but I still was graduating college feeling particularly useless, and I was aware of that about a year or two before I graduated college. Went into conservation biology, although I'd worked at a sustainable farm before I graduated. And leaving college, I knew I either wanted to farm or I wanted to do conservation biology, and the first thing I did was conservation biology. I went and studied emperor tamarins in Peru for a little while, and that was extremely fun. I like monkeys a lot, but I found the approach. I was working for a PhD, and we're studying behavior, and this was supposed to all lead towards the potential conservation of this species. I found the results were going to be, negligible, if anything. And the whole time you're moving past all these other endangered species in the rainforest, and it just felt that we were missing the forest for the trees, almost literally. And came back from that wanting a more broad scale approach to ecological regeneration, and took a permaculture course, which for the first time since college kind of just opened up the realm of possibilities. I just heard about a lot of different solutions I hadn't heard about in college. And I went to college, down the block from the Savory Institute. I did 5 years of school in 2 majors. I never once heard about them, all in ecological classes. I eventually stumbled across holistic plant grazing and holistic management in the Savory Institute. Took my holistic management courses and just kept hammering until I got there. Yeah, so Boekhouse Hearth and Husbandry sells lambs and sheep, but focuses on whole animal eatery. And so I really work with individuals who want to buy custom whole animals or half animals, but also with restaurants and chefs who are willing to take on the challenge of utilizing the whole carcass. Some of the restaurants I work with are the Duchess and Pignon, who are doing things like curing meat and cooking it into Burmese food and things like that. And then the way I relate to Shepherdess Land and Livestock is that Shepherdess Land and Livestock is a contract grazing business, and the more sheep she has, as long as we have enough shepherds, the more contracts we can take on. And for me, as a landless person that grew up in Los Angeles, this is a unique way to access land. And so I was trained in Shepherdess Land and Livestock, but Brittany Cole Bush helped me to start this business, and I slowly got paid in sheep and built my herd over time in her business, which allowed me to launch Boekhouse Hearth and Husbandry. And she still gets to take on more contracts, increase revenue, and I get to grow my herd and launch this fledgling meat business. It is that holistic being that attracts me to being in this industry at all. I want to have a relationship with the animal in the field. I want to be there at the end of its life. I want to cut it up and have that craft butchery, and I want to connect back to the community by being there to sell them the meat and have that full feedback loop. And without having a hand in each part of that process, I'm not interested in being there. In that same way, EOV monitoring is built into my whole, where although I'm a shepherd of Ojai Valley and working on building the bioregional food network in our area, I want to be able to connect to the farmers throughout California and as far as I can go. And so this gives me the excuse to get out there and go meet other farmers and ranchers and see how they're doing things. As an EOV monitor, I go to various ranches within our hub network to go take ecological readings on the land and give them a snapshot of the way their management's leading the land along, but also am a bit of a liaison for Savory so that I can explain and educate to the land stewards what they're managing for and what our readings are trying to demonstrate to them. I've gone on because of the nature of the contract grazing business. I get the opportunity to go meet a lot of landowners, and every landowner has a different context, and some of them want fire mitigation, some of them want weed abatement, but eventually we met one who didn't have a lot of property to protect, didn't really need to improve the soil, but wanted grazing year-round. And so I've managed to secure a lease on about 1,000 acres, but it's a free lease. He just doesn't want to pay for grazing. And so just, by putting myself out there for, it's been about 3 years, and saying yes to as many opportunities as I could, I found another way to access land. And there's more, and once the opportunities start rolling in, and I've gotten other opportunities, and then you have to just start figuring out, from your holistic context, which things to say yes to, which things to say no to. And in many ways, I am still technically landless as far as having a scalable livestock business goes, but I have access to a lot of land, and this allows me to run this whole business. I think that holistic management just works, that you can just follow what's written down, and that the ecology will restore simply by just following what's in the book. What's written down in the book is a process, and so you can follow that process, but it's going to look different on everyone's land. And sometimes the best and fastest ecological restoration using cattle is not what you're going to be using on your land when you apply your whole context to it. Sometimes holistic management means daily moves, and sometimes it means 7 moves throughout the year, and any of these. But it's about moving things in the right direction and making it so that you don't crash and burn. That's something that I'll never forget is listening to Alan Savory, and many times mentioned that most ranches are not failing because people don't know how to move cows or sheep. They're failing because of divorces. They're failing because of alcoholism. They're failing because they don't manage for themselves, and coming to realize that the rancher, the land steward, is as much a part of the landscape as the animals and the plants and the microbes are. And if you don't manage for that, then the project will fail. But to be out there with the animals all day is definitely a unique experience. To be able to spend all your time with animals and get to know their rhythms, their sounds, and things like that. And you slowly become something more than just a shepherd that has animals and a dog, but this, in the same way that we're made up of many different organisms that form a superorganism that is the human, you extend that superorganism into the flock and the dog, and the better you get at it, the more you can drop into that, and it's an incredibly unique experience, one that I never thought about prior to becoming a shepherd. I wanted to ranch and graze, and I wanted to build electric fence, and when I started working for Cole, I had no idea dogs were going to be part of it, and I had no idea I'd be circuiting them around. And it's been a very unique experience. It's fulfilling. You're connected to the world that you're a part of in a more meaningful way. There's a lot of different ways that people view what human beings are in the world, depending on your religious and spiritual and cultural backgrounds. But even the most materialistic people that also follow an evolutionary line of men evolving from primates seem to just completely remove humans from the equation of what you're managing for when you look at a landscape and you're managing and planning for a natural landscape. And if you're the steward of a landscape and you get removed from it because you couldn't pay your bills or because you're drunk or something like that and you can't get up and do the work you need to do, then that landscape's going to suffer for it. I'm not prone to being very depressive and stuff, but I did leave college without thinking there was any great solutions for what we were finding ourselves in. And I think one of the parts of my perspective that started to shift when I got into holistic management was that and especially seeing the broad acre applications of it, was that man and his ability to destroy environments has the same potential to restore them. And it's just about how we behave on the land. And that's incredibly motivational and optimistic.